Hey folks, tonight I'm going to do a video on a gun that I made it a little project gun, and it was a fun little project to do. This gun started out life as a Generation 4 Glock 17C. It's the compensated model or the ported model, and I did some work to it and turned it into a nice little gun. So let's zoom down here and take a look at it, and I'll tell you what I think about it. This is my Glock 17 Gen 4 that, like I said, started life as a 17C. I'll go over from the frame up and tell you what I did to it. First off, I removed the finger grooves and I gave it a full stipple job. This one has a waffle type stipple pattern to it. You can see in the lighter colored areas, that's where it actually collected a little bit of DNA from my hand. So it's a very aggressive pattern. You can also tell that I've done a undercut right here. It's a very large undercut, and then I did a secondary uppercut in the front. I like my uppercut to be a little farther forward than what most people cut theirs as. If you'll look underneath it, I smooth all of this out to where it's just nice and silky smooth. I'll take it and do my cut, and then I'll take sandpaper in varying degrees and smooth it out to where it's my final sandpaper is a 2000 grit, and it's just nice and smooth up under there. Then I put texture under the front one. I like to have a little bit of texture on that front one. I also put an Overwatch precision trigger in here. This is an aluminum trigger. This one, when I bought it with the trigger and the trigger housing and their connector. I like it, but I don't like it as well as one that I would have done myself. If I had to do it over again, I would have bought the polymer Overwatch trigger and trigger bar and then just done the rest of it myself. It's a decent trigger. It's good, but it's not quite what I would expect for over, well, about $160, was it? Somewhere around there. I can't really remember, but it was something like that. But I can buy the polymer version of this for $55 online at several different places. I run the Olight Valkyrie. I think it's the PO2. I like this light a lot. I've used it for quite a while now, and I've shot a bunch of rounds through this gun with this light on it. And this light has held up very well. Next we'll move on to the slide, and this is where it gets a little different from some other ones. This is a Gray Ghost precision slide. As you can see, it's got some knurling in the back, some knurling in the front, and then it's got a window cut on top, the same on the other side. But this is a really nice slide. I like it a lot. One thing that sold me on this slide was the optics cut. The way Gray Ghost cuts their slides, and by the way, this is for a Generation 4. It's not a Generation 3 slide. This is a Generation 4 slide. But the way Gray Ghost cuts their slides is they mill it initially for a Leupold Deltapoint. But in the package, they give you underneath the mounting plate or the cover plate, they have an adapter in there. And that little adapter is, I believe it's made out of aluminum, I'm not really sure. But that little adapter, you put it on the slide, and now it becomes compatible with Trijicon RMR. So basically I can take the Deltapoint off, put this little adapter on there, and now I can run a Trijicon RMR. The nice thing about it is it doesn't mount into the adapter itself, it mounts into the slide, so it makes it a much stronger hold. So if you ever had a Glock MOS, you know that the screws mount into an adapter plate, which you get only maybe 2 threads, 3 at the most, into the plate, where as opposed to this, it mounts directly into the slide itself. So those screws go all the way down into the slide. It's a much stronger hold. So if you were to do one-handed manipulations using the optic as a racking point, it is going to hold on there better. I've got a Mariglow suppressor height sight up front. It's just black. I like black suppressor height sights on guns that I run a red dot on, and I don't have the sight on the back. The one drawback to a Deltapoint is the height of the optic body itself. It's really tall. So if I were to put the suppressor height sight in the back, I wouldn't be able to co-witness. Now I do have a dovetail mount, a sight that fits in the dovetail back here, but the problem is this isn't milled out right here, so it won't go low enough for me to get the sights regulated. So anyway, I do like this setup a lot. The slide is light, it tracks fast, and because it is light, you do away with a lot of that muzzle dip. You hear me talk about muzzle dip a lot. That's a pet peeve of mine. I like my guns to go recoil back and come out straight back on target. I don't like them to recoil back and have muzzle dip and come back up, because it slows you down. The Deltapoint Pro is my favorite optic. If you can see, it's got a very large window to view through, as opposed to a Trijicon RMR. Yes, I believe the RMR is tougher as far as being able to, I've seen videos where people will drive nails with the RMR. Yeah, the body itself is tougher. But this thing for everyday use, whether it's concealed carry, whether it's law enforcement, whether it's military, this thing holds up good. Very, very good. Is it as tough as the RMR? No. Is it as good as the RMR? Yes. In my opinion, the electronics in this are better than the RMR. Talk about the cut one more time. There was another thing about the cut that I should have mentioned. The way this is cut, this will accept 4 different optics. You've got the Leupold Deltapoint Pro. Then SIG makes an optic that has the same footprint as the Leupold. It's the Romeo, I don't know if it's the 1 or the Romeo 2, it's one of them. When you put the adapter on, then it will fit the Trijicon RMR or the Holosun, the new Holosuns. From what I hear, the new Holosun is a pretty slick little red dot. And I'm probably going to wind up buying one, but I think you can get them right around $300. I'm probably going to wind up buying one and trying it out, see how it holds up. Let me show you the original slide that came on this gun, just so you'll, if you're not familiar with the 17C, you'll know what I'm talking about. This is the original slide that came on the gun. As you can see, it's got ports cut into the slide itself, and it's got ports cut into the barrel. Now, when you shoot this gun, the way the ports are designed, the gases, when the round's fired, the bullet travels down the barrel. Once it passes these ports, gas comes out of these ports. Now, normally, when the bullet passes and comes out, you're going to have recoil, which makes the muzzle rise. Now, with those gases that are being ported out, it helps drive the muzzle back down flat. So yes, you still do get recoil, but it's a noticeable difference. I've got a 17C and I've also got a 19C. In my opinion, I think the 19C, the ports help more, but they are still very noticeable in a 17C. I like this gun. I like the 17C. I just wanted to try something new, so I had this gun laying around. I shot it a pretty good bit, but I wanted to try out one of these Grey Ghost slides, and I'm glad I did. They pretty awesome little slides. Now in the video, you're going to see me wearing a gun belt. Some people call it a war belt or a battle belt. I don't call it none of those silly terms. I call it a gun belt because that's what it is. That I wore in one other video, and I'm probably going to start wearing it for a while because I'm trying it out. It is also made by Grey Ghost. It's their Grey Ghost, what is it, UTG, or I can't remember the acronym for it, but it's made by Grey Ghost. And once I've worn it for a little while, I'm gonna do a review on it and kind of let y'all know what I think about it. But so far, I really like it. I'm gonna take this out to the range, I'm gonna shoot it, and I'm gonna give you my thoughts on it. So hope you enjoy shooting footage. I'm gonna start off with my Glock 17 with the Grey Ghost slide. This has a Leupold Deltapoint on it, Deltapoint Pro, and I got my little light on there too. I'm gonna start off with my 5x5. See how this thing runs. .84. Not the greatest, but we're just getting warmed up here. Let's get up here and look at the round. Through one. The rest of them, pretty good. But I did throw that one. So let's go back there, try it again. .18. Having a hard time getting used to that dot again. It's the first time I've shot with a dot in quite a while. So you'll see, turn this around for you. I threw another one out. That was clean. And I thought I threw one out somewhere else. No, I don't guess I did. So that's clean. That's clean. And I threw one out right up here. So get warmed back up to this dot again and see what I can do with it. I'd gotten to where there for a while all I was shooting was red dots, but I might have to warm back up to it again now, aren't I? Bear Solutions drill, 10 and 3. Not terrible. 6.24. Let's see if I can clean that up just a little bit. Good hits, by the way. Woo! 6.44. 6.44. Come up here, I'll show you the hits. Pretty good hits. There's all 10, there's all 10, and there's all 6 of them. That's pretty good hits. let's move on to something else. Woo, 6:39. That's pretty good time. First run was slow. Second run, pretty good. Try some shots for accuracy. That's 15 shots, about 7 yards. So looking at an inch and a half. You do have to remember that when you're at certain distances, depending on where you sight your red dot in, you'll have holdover like with a rifle. So I was aiming about right here, and all my shots were going about right here. So it's pretty good. I'm gonna try some A-zone shots as fast as I can shoot. Not bad. Nowhere near as fast as my SPI, but not bad. Alright. See what else we can do. Let's do some headshots as fast as I can shoot. Pick a clean target. Not bad, I'm gonna do it again. Alright, so these are my A-zone hits. Those are already there. So it's these right here, my 20 rounds right there to the body. I'm shooting a little low. It's because the way I sighted in my red dot. But anyway, I need to figure out my holdover. Let's go over here and look at the headshots. These are the headshots. At 35 rounds. 35 rounds right here. I don't know if that one was already there or not, but that's 35 rounds right there in the head. I'd say that's pretty good. Like I said, I can't shoot this one as fast as I shoot my 1911s. I just can't work the trigger that fast. I can still spit some lead down there fairly quick, but nothing like some high-end shooters that shoot Glocks all the time. But anyway, let's move on and try maybe one other thing. All right, I'm gonna work on my draws from a holster. I need to work on that with this red dot. Having a little trouble acquiring it coming out of the holster, so I'm gonna work on those for a few minutes. That'll be my last drill. I'm gonna start off slow. Hey folks, I'm going to give you my thoughts on the Glock 17 with the Gray Ghost Precision Slide and Leupold Deltapoint Pro on it. We'll zoom down here and take a look at it. Alright, my thoughts on the Gen 4 Glock 17 with the Gray Ghost Precision Slide. I like it a lot. I love the knurling on the front and back rear of the slide. It gives you really good purchase. If you're not careful, it'll actually take some skin off. I mean, these things are aggressive, really aggressive. I like the texturing that I put on the grip. I like the absence of the finger grooves. I like the trigger. I just, for the money, I think there's better ones out there. In my opinion, I think the polymer version is the best bang for your buck. So if y'all were on the fence between getting a polymer, I think they call it the polydat, or the aluminum tack trigger or the DAT trigger, try out the polymer one, because I don't think you'll be disappointed with it. You get the same kind of pre-travel reduction in it as you do in this one, but it's, I mean, for 55 bucks you can't go wrong with that. Let me give you a couple of trigger pulls on here to let you know what this trigger feels like. I did change the connector out, but I didn't do a full-on trigger job with it. I might someday do a full-on trigger job, but I don't really think I need to. Let me get a good trigger pull on this. Broke at 3 pounds 13 ounces. Now you'll notice when I pull the trigger, I do pull at the bottom of the shoe, and the reason I do that is because it's just easier to pull there. If I pull it here, it rolls around a lot and it's hard to get a consistent reading on the trigger. But if I pull it down here, I can get a consistent reading on it. Let me try a couple more. 3 pounds 11 ounces. Let's do one more. 3 pounds, 10 ounces. So an average 3 pounds, 11 ounces. So it's a sub 4 pound trigger. And it does feel like a sub 4 pound trigger. Now I will tell you, one thing that I don't like about the trigger is the reset, and that has pretty much to do with the connector. But once you fire the trigger, if you'll notice, the reset on this will be a little bit long. So there's the reset. So you take the slack out, there's the wall, it rolls through the wall. It's not a crisp break, it's more like a rolling break. And then here's your reset. It's a little bit long in my opinion. So let's try it one more time. Reset, and then rolling break. Give you some thoughts about the gun. Love the stipple job, love the slide. Deltapoint Pro is my favorite optic. It has been ever since I put it on there, and it will continue to be. I've got Deltapoint Pros and I've got Trijicon RMRs. I like the RMRs. They're tough. I do like them, but I like my Deltapoint Pro better, much better. The light, it's a great light. I've shot the crap out of this light, or shot the crap out of this gun or other guns with this light on it, and this thing just keeps on trucking. I can't say enough good about this light, especially for the price point. You got a $100 light with, I don't know, it's 1,000 or 1,200 lumens. Got a super bright hot spot. It really pushes that light out there a long distance, and it's about the same price as a Streamlight TLR1 with the high lumen. So I like the activation of this light better than the Streamlight or the Surefire. I like the paddle activation. So all you have to do is press it and it comes on, press it and it goes off. Or if you just want momentary, you press it and hold it, and then you can let it go, and it automatically reverts right back to full on, full off, just like that. So if I had to do it over again, would I do it? I probably would. I wouldn't do the trigger. If I was going to go with an expensive trigger, I would go with the Johnny Glock's trigger, or I would just do my own. I would probably buy the Grey. If I was going to buy another slide, it would be another Grey Ghost slide. I really like the Grey Ghost slide. They're not cheap, but you get what you pay for, and it comes nitron coated. It's not Cerakote, so it's basically the same coating that you're going to get on a Glock, pretty much. And I'm running a Glock factory 17 barrel. I don't have any problems with the Glock 17 barrel. I don't know if I rolled the accuracy footage in here or not, but if I did, you can tell it shoots just fine. There's nothing wrong with it at all. But my thoughts on this gun, I like it a lot. I will probably wind up building another one like this someday, because I get bored and I just like tinkering. But if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, share it around, and hope to see you back next week. Oh, I was gonna throw this out there too. Next week I'm gonna give you a little sneak peek of what I'm gonna review next week. Next week I'm gonna review the SIG P365 and kind of give you my thoughts on it. A little spoiler alert, I like it. I've had it for about a year. I like it. If you're thinking about getting one, get it. They're great guns. So till next week, y'all be careful, and we'll see you again.